Hi, I'm Rob Jellesed with Coldwell Banker Pacwest Realty in Medford, Oregon, and I'm here today with Bob Nelson with Pacwest Commercial Real Estate Investments here in Eugene. And Bob is a extremely talented and experienced commercial real estate broker here in the Eugene area, and I have a few minutes of time to been working with him on asking him questions about the step-by-step process he goes with working with sellers and buyers in the commercial real estate industry. Bob, I've asked you to think about for someone looking for a good real estate broker, what are the qualities and characteristics of successful brokers that you've worked with in the past? Not everyone can work with you. That would overwhelm you immensely. So I think the best thing we could do is give them some advice on how to select the right real estate broker for their needs.
Well, that's interesting. I've been doing this for 50 years, and I've observed a lot of commercial brokers, very successful ones, those that should have been successful, and for various reasons opted not to be, possibly by their personality, possibly by their attitude, possibly because they had better opportunities presented. But I think a good commercial broker, number one, is one that is particularly caring about their client. Now, if you care too much, that's possible. If you care too much, if I were attempting to do the very best for you, I would absolutely demand an extreme solution. An extreme solution that may not even exist. So by my over-caring, I keep you from transacting at all, which in hindsight may be a huge mistake. So number one, I would have to understand the nature of the market that you wish to participate in. Now by that, I would have familiarity with the geographic areas of your concern. For instance, you practice in the Medford area, but that's also Klamath Falls, that's also anything in the state of Oregon, because you have access to the same type of information, investment information that I do. I'm licensed in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Arizona, and I practice in those four regions. And I like to become very, very knowledgeable in all four of those regions. But I'm going to stay primarily Pacific Northwest in most of my practice. So I have to become very familiar with the general region that I'm operating in. And some regions are healthy and some regions are not so healthy. I like to focus towards those regions that are going to be particularly successful in the future. Because the reason that I would acquire real estate is not because it did well in the past, although that will be a prime indication of what it might do in the future. It's because the future potential in that property is as high as possible in producing the benefits that you're after. So I have to become regionally familiar, and then once regionally familiar with neighborhoods. What are the most successful neighborhoods in which the property that you're seeking might be located? Number two, I would have to become very familiar with the mortgage market. What are the trends of the mortgage market? Because most people deal with borrowed money as they buy property. They like to borrow at a low interest rate and invest in a property that has a higher capitalization rate or cap rate. That shows that they're going to be making money on money they don't even own, that money they've borrowed. So I have to become very familiar with the mortgage market and trends of the mortgage market. And there are times where individuals should definance, not refinance, definance, which may mean sell an asset and use the proceeds to pay off loans on things that you currently have to make yourself more safe, to increase cash flow and so forth. It depends. And there are times to do that, and there's times probably not to do that. Borrow as much as you can,
Sure.
et cetera, to own as much as possible when the market is on the move.
So to summarize, what are the key attributes of a successful real estate broker that I should be looking for?
Well, it would be a person that would be very familiar with the type of asset that you're after. An apartment complex,
multifamilies,
triple net, industrial, office, and so forth. They would be very familiar with that product type because lack of familiarity can allow them to make mistakes.
Second one would be mortgage.
Regional mortgage familiarity, and that's just being pretty close to several good mortgage brokers who will share with you what they see of the immediate mortgage market and which way interest rates are changing.
Okay.
The
And-
third would be technical knowledge. For instance, if you're doing a 1031, if you're doing a tax-deferred exchange, an individual that doesn't have familiarity with that could lead you into trouble. So it depends on the situation that you're after, but expertise or experience, geographic understanding, fiscal or financial understanding, and then caring. Without the willingness to deal with the situation at the client's level, you probably won't produce as good a result as could be. Now, there's some people that frankly are difficult to work with. And if, from a broker standpoint, if I can identify it up front, they waste time without producing any benefit other than frustration to cause me to think that I don't know what I'm doing. Yet it's the individual.
Those are great points, Bob, and I really appreciate your time. We're kind of have to wrap it up right
Okay.
now, but we'll continue this in our next
Sure.
YouTube video.
Okay.
So thanks again. This is Rob Jellesed with Coldwell Banker Pacwest Realty in Medford, Oregon. Thanks for taking the time to listen to Bob and his assessment of good commercial real estate brokers. I'm Rob Jellesed of Coldwell Banker Pacwest Realty in Medford, Oregon, and this is my YouTube channel. I hope you find the content on here entertaining, informative, and enjoyable, and somewhat comical. Thank you for watching.